In this video, we're going to talk about unveiling the ultimate powerhouse, exploring the all-new Porsche Panamera's performance and luxury. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. In a provocative move, certain to not have been missed by its Bavarian rivals, Porsche staged the launch of its all-new four-door, four-passenger Panamera Gran Turismo right in the heart of Munich Airport's busy business precinct, close to the corporate nerve center of that other German performance powerhouse, BMW. No doubt BMW and its German premium rivals, Mercedes-Benz and Audi, will be watching with interest to see if there is enough oxygen in the current, beleaguered market to sustain a prestige performance vehicle that blends attributes of performance sedan, luxury limousine, and sports car. Classifying this, the fourth model range from the small but influential Stuttgart manufacturer, is not easy. A fact acknowledged by Porsche Australia PR chief Paul Ellis, who helped coin the phrase 4 doors, 4 seats, 4 inches off the ground when communicating the concept to potential customers. A less generous description was offered by a British journalist who described it as big, ugly, but good to drive. At the car's international launch in Germany last week, Porsche's chief chassis engineer, Andreas Probsel, told Wheels, "We have no one main competitor because the concept of a 4-door, 4-seat luxury performance coupe is still relatively new." This much is certainly true, though claims that the Panamera is a genuinely unique concept might well be challenged by Mazda, which gave the world its first 4-door, 4-seat RX-8 sports car as far back as 2003. Regardless, Porsche Panamera clearly hopes that the difficulty people have in placing its new GT on a positioning map will translate to an ability to cut across various sales segments. The company specifically mentions such super sedan rivals as the BMW M5, Mercedes E63, and Audi RS6. But the Porsche Panamera also targets Benz's CLS 63 AMG, Maserati's Quadroport, and the high-performance variants of luxury limousines such as the Audi A8, BMW 7 Series, and Benz S-Class. The Porsche Panamera arrives at a delicate time for Porsche, still embroiled in damaging fallout from its ill-fated Volkswagen takeover bid. Porsche board member for sales and marketing, Klaus Berning, pointedly refused to discuss the details of that situation at the Porsche Panamera's press conference, preferring instead to deflect attention back onto the new car. Fortunately, regardless of how the political machinations of the VW-Porsche cooperation play out, what is abundantly clear is that Porsche has delivered yet another brilliant sports car. 2 days spent hammering the potent new GT over the Alpine roads that crisscross the German and Austrian borders outside Munich confirm the Porsche Panamera as, quite clearly, one of the planet's finest GT cars. It won't necessarily be the most attractive car in its segment, though, and debate had begun long before the car's launch as to whether it's beautiful, handsome, or plain. A straw poll of Aussie journos at the launch seemed to indicate some consensus that the packaging and interior presentation of the Panamera are both first-rate, but the overall design may not be as successful. It's the rear end that draws the most criticism, with not everyone agreeing on the merits of the bulbous liftback. The car is undeniably a Porsche Panamera, however, and design chief Michael Maurer spent his presentation outlining how the design team had attempted to incorporate such classic 911 elements as the pinched waistline, powerfully flared haunches, tapered glasshouse, and flared fenders. Maurer's design brief called for, among other things, coupe-like styling with sports-style accommodation for 4, Porsche driving dynamics, best in-class performance, and good fuel efficiency. Individuals will be the ultimate judge of how successful the team have been in a pure design sense, but there's little doubt they've delivered on the rest of the brief, and, in the process, created a car that is both interesting to look at and unequivocally a Porsche. Low, wide, and sitting on a 2,920mm wheelbase to optimize high-speed handling and weight distribution, the Panamera has a classic sports car profile, yet delivers handsomely on its goal of providing a generous rear seat package with excellent head and legroom and good boot space. Ingress and egress to the rear seat, though not easy as it is in, say, a 7 Series or an S-Class, is very good. Once in position in the low-slung individual sports buckets, there is ample legroom even for tall passengers sitting behind a similarly lofty driver. Scalloping of the headlining ensures better than adequate headroom and visibility too, and there's no sense of the rear glass being too close for comfort. There is a lack of foot space beneath the front seats, and this, combined with a high sill, requires a bit of maneuvering to get your feet in and out cleanly. The rear seats are mounted well inboard and styled to create a sense of a second cockpit. In higher spec models, rear seat passengers have access to individual climate controls, security blinds on the rear and side windows, seat heating and cooling, and individual bucket seat adjustment. Porsche Panamera seats are firm and quite heavily bolstered, with a prominent headrest and a center console that, for my money, creates an environment that's a bit too firm for the car's luxury positioning. But there's no doubt that you're held snugly in position should your driver ever decide to show you the Panamera's wares. Porsche Panamera wares are impressive, whether in one of the two Atmo V8-powered models or in the range-topping turbo. The 4.8-liter V8 is essentially the same engine in the Cayenne SUV, but has come in for revisions aimed at reducing weight and improving responsiveness. In both the rear-wheel drive Panamera S and the all-wheel drive Panamera 4S, the engine pumps out a healthy 294 kilowatts at 6,500 RPM and 500 nanometers from 3,500 to 5,000 RPM. The turbo ups the ante substantially to 368 kilowatts at 6,000 RPM and 700 nanometers from 2,250 RPM to 4,500 RPM. Porsche Panamera weights for the S and 4S are 1,800 kilograms and 1,860 kilograms respectively, with the turbo the beefiest of the three at 1,970 kilograms. Of course, it's the turbo that smashes the acceleration times of its Atmo stablemates, with a devastating 4.2 seconds from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour sprint, thundering on to 200 kilometers per hour in 13.9 seconds. But back down the league tables, the extra grip of the 4S sees it pip the S by 4/10, with its 5.0 second 0 to 100 km per hour sprint. And if you'd been a traditionalist and ticked the no-cost 6-speed manual option on the S instead of the PDK, you'd have given away another 0.2 to the 4S. In the 0 to 200 km per hour sprint, the PDK-equipped S and 4S are line ball at 18.5 seconds each. Porsche Panamera top speeds for the trio are 285, 282, and 303 km per hour respectively, which ought to be about enough for most folk. Porsche's brilliant PDK double-clutch gearbox, the same as that recently unveiled on the updated 911 and Boxster, is the standard gearbox across the range. The absence of a conventional manual altogether would be anathema to Porsche purists, so the option is there on the base model. Porsche Australia expects the take-up to be virtually zero, and no manuals were available to drive at the launch. Porsche Panamera has already been written about the quality of the PDK gearbox, and its application in the Panamera only builds on this glowing reputation. The automated twin-clutch system is a little short of brilliant, slamming home shifts with lightning speed and brutal efficiency when in full attack mode, or ambling effortlessly up through the cogs in near-seamless fashion at lower speeds. Given the box's ability to have its shift speed altered at the touch of a button, there's little real need to select the ratios yourself, although this is an option both via the stick shift or the steering wheel mounted paddles. Still the wrong way around, we regret to report. Porsche Panamera system is not flawless, and there are occasions when you detect a slightly awkward up or down shift, mostly when ambling along at low speeds, but this is the exception rather than the norm. Porsche Panamera Active Suspension Management, PASM, is standard on all versions, offering a wide range of adjustment via 3 manually selectable damper settings that each have a distinctive character ranging from comfort to sporting. Adaptive air suspension, capable of lowering the car by 25 mm and firming spring rates, is standard on the turbo and an option on the S and 4S. Porsche Panamera car is impressive enough when left to its own devices, but for drivers who like to get involved with vehicle setup, there are plenty of buttons to punch. These include a standard sports button, which changes the engine mapping, PDK shift speed, and drive distribution in the all-wheel drive models. There's also a Sports Plus button if you've ticked the Sports Chrono option, which takes things up another notch again, and in the case of the turbo, activates an overboost function that bumps up torque by 10%. The Sports Chrono package also brings with it a launch control function which, we can confirm, works with brutal efficiency in shaving 0.2 off the relevant model's 0 to 100 km/h time. Significantly, Porsche Panamera has avoided the trend to have vehicle setups buried in the selectable computer menus, and all performance-enhancing controls for the Panamera are arranged in an array of buttons on either side of the shift selector. The idea works well, and after only a short time at the wheel, I found myself comfortably flicking between the car's different suspension settings as the road conditions changed. What do you think of our video? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoy this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button before you go. Thanks for watching.